Hello everybody, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to another video. This time I am back with a solo playthrough of this new game that I picked up at Origins Game Fair called Defrag. You've got a brand new computer, 1 entire megabyte of RAM, and it's already giving you issues. You've been waiting 15 minutes for a lousy JPEG to load, 97% fragmentation after 2 days, ridiculous. Well, get cozy, it's time to defrag. So the goal of defrag is to, through rotating, shifting, and stacking, consolidate all cards of the same active file type into the same stack in order to score it when the deck runs out. In a standard game, you repeat this process 4 times for each file type to score each time. The more file fragments you manage to fit into each stack, the higher your final score is. So this is, as it kind of mentions, is a it's a tile laying game in sense. It's also a bit of a hand management game where you have these different tiles here that have symbols on them, and I know these cards look intimidating. I think it's one of the most kind of intimidating things about this game. They got a lot of symbols going on, but it's not as bad as it looks, promise. So let me zoom in a little bit on this and explain what's going on the cards a little bit. Okay, so this is what the standard cards in the game look like. Now, like I said, lots of symbols on it, but don't worry. So you have the main symbol at the top is the active file type. You have these file types around the corner. There are 4 different symbols. They can appear in numbers 1 through 3. So we got 2 of the graph here, 2 of the notebook, 1 system, whatever. You have the main central window here that shows what action this card has associated with it. So each card has a main action, which is in this window here. You also have the optional action of recycling with each card. That's why the recycle bin is there. That's all that's important on this side of the card. So you have these 4 extra symbols on the corner here and the smaller window here. All of this indicates is what's on the back of the card. So if I flip this over, you see the main action here is the save file, and this shows 3 paint symbols. 3 paint symbols are down there. So all of these 4 corner symbols in the small window, all they're doing is showing you what's on the back of the card. So hopefully that explains that. Some cards, it's not very often, let me see if I can find one real fast, will have an extra, I think they call it like a special action associated with it. There's not very many, so let me find one real fast. I misspoke. So what I meant to say is most of the cards have arrows as their main action where they can move cards. Some have special actions instead that have different symbols in here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is set up how the game is supposed to start, and then I'll explain how the round structure works and how kind of the game in essence works. Then I will of course be playing through a full game. So to start, you want to mix up this deck of cards, you want to shuffle it, you want to rotate them, you want to flip them forward and back, and make sure they're all well and shuffled. After that, you want to make a little grid of cards. You basically want to make a 3x3 grid. These cards can be kind of any orientation. The little windows don't really matter in this part when it comes to setting them up. You want to leave one spot in the middle of the grid open so you get a little something like this. Let me kind of straighten this out. Okay, that's a little bit better. Then you want to take one card from your deck and add it to your recycling bin. I'm just going to put my recycling bin kind of under my camera up there. I'm going to put my deck right here, and then you draw 2 cards that you have in your hand, and that's how you get set up for the game. So like I kind of mentioned at the beginning, this game is played over a series of rounds and kind of like miniature games in themselves, where essentially each game you're scoring for 1 file type, and then you're doing essentially like 4 small games in 1 big game. So, and you could choose any of the 4 file types. You have a little score pad off to the side to track your score for each time. So this is a spatial game, because what you're essentially trying to do is, like I said, trying to get as many of 1 file type to 1 stack. So let's say I want to try to get all the notebooks. All right, first round, I'm going to focus on notebooks. So I got 2 notebooks up here. Okay, I want to try to maybe consolidate those. I want to move this card around. So let me get to the main thing you can do during your turn, which is playing one of your 2 cards. You can play it anywhere on the grid. It doesn't have to be, the grid's kind of boundless, so it can go anywhere outside. It just has to be kind of, you know, on the grid. You have to have like a grid of cards. That's how this whole game works. And so I'll just show you a standard placement. I'll just place a card. Okay, so I got this card here. It's got the arrow going to the right. It's got the file symbols all around. So I'm going to place it, let's just say there. When you place a card to do a standard action, there's an action they have to do, but before that, there's an optional thing you can do, and that's rotate cards. So whenever I place a card, if any of the symbols on the card I place are the same symbols as an adjacent card, which in this case, as you see, these two cards have adjacent symbols. They both have the graph symbol. That means this card I can rotate however I want now. So because I placed this here, if I wanted to make this have the graph side face up, I could rotate it like that. Boom. If I place this right in the center, okay, this graph symbol matches up with that, so I could activate and twist that in any direction. It doesn't have to just be one time, it could be as many times. And if this matched up with multiple symbols, you could rotate multiple cards. So you place it, optionally rotate cards, then you perform the action. The arrow actions are pretty straightforward. You just move a card which way the arrow indicates. Essentially, you just choose a card in the row or column of the card you placed. So I placed this card here. There's no cards in the column that I placed it in, so any of these top cards in this row I can move. This is arrows indicating to the right, so I can move it one spot to the right. There are a couple of movement rules. The main thing is I think you could just only move cards on top of cards that have the same active file type. So I could not move this notepad on top of this file graph. That wouldn't work, but I could move this notepad on top of this notepad. That's all well and good, and that's maybe a good thing if I'm trying to score notepads for this first round. So that's the main thing. You place a card, you optionally rotate, do the action, and then draw a new card. When you place a card, you always have to place it with the window oriented normally. So you have this like center window here. You can't place it sideways. It's got to be, you know, the defrag window has to be correctly placed. But then throughout the game, as you can see, cards can rotate. So after you place it, you might rotate it later on. So that's placing as the main action. And then you would draw a new card. One thing I didn't realize till reading the rules just before this video that I'm kind of glad I realized is I didn't know this, but you can place a card either side. So if I want to use this card, you know, I could place it this side and use this action, or this side and use this action, which is huge. Kind of changes a lot. I didn't realize till reading the rules. So I'm gonna be trying to play it that way because I guess that's how you're supposed to do it. But yeah, I guess you kind of have both sides to choose from. I'll quickly open up the rules to talk about some of the special actions that aren't arrows, but there's not very many and they're pretty straightforward. You have the little network action, which just essentially lets you move one card anywhere on the grid to another card. You can also move stacks. The recycle action is a secondary action that's available on all cards. You have a recycling bin. That's what I have my one card up here for. And you could just recycle a card instead of playing it. And what that does is a couple of things. You can rotate or flip and rotate any card on the grid. Pretty dang handy. And then there's a standard rule called chaining, where you can create a chain of cards if they have identical symbols connecting them together. So for example, like these two cards are chained together because they have the notebook symbol kind of connecting them, but then these are not chained together and these are not chained together, so it's just a small chain. But recycling also allows you to move cards through a chain. So if I have a big chain here of 4, if these were all in a chain, I could use a recycle to move this card on top of this card, and that's like a thing you could do with recycling. That's available on all cards. You just discard your card instead of playing it, and you get to do that. You can save, so you essentially just have a little save area next to your hand of cards. You play a card, and then the save icon lets you take a card from the grid and save it essentially, and it's like a third card in your hand. There's also the help file type, which is just an icon that can appear on cards, and it's like a wild icon. It can count as any icon. It counts towards any icon for rotating and chaining and all of that good stuff. There's also a file tree icon, which essentially counts. I'll just read what it says. It says you can add this icon to any stack. It is not considered a file fragment, but you can use it to remotely access any one matching card or stack anywhere in the same row or column. Also, reading this, I did not realize it has to be in the same row or column. I have not been playing that correctly, so you know what, reading the rules is good. And I just read it beforehand, but I must have skimmed over that part. So yeah, if I have a stack of notepads here at the end of the round, if I'm trying to score for notepads, you should only have one stack. But if I have another stack over here, same row, and this stack has a tree in it, then this is fine and they would both score essentially. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I need to talk about. This game kind of looks intimidating at first, and there's a decent amount of rules, but I think it's a whole lot of fun, and we're gonna go ahead and play through a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so you can kind of choose whichever icon you want to score for at any point. I'm gonna try to choose notepads to score for first round. So because there's like a triple there, a triple there, a double there, I can rotate, and there's a double there, so lots of good stuff around. So what I want to do is probably, neither of these match up. That would be great because I want to like rotate that and then move that. That wouldn't really work. Okay, we'll start out with something kind of simple. I'm gonna play this card up here. I could rotate this if I want to. I don't want to. Then I can move one card in the row or column to the right. I'll take this card and stack it on top of that notebook. Great. Draw a new card, and we're rocking and rolling. It's as simple as that. Okay, interesting idea. I'm gonna play this in the center. First, I can rotate this card, which I will rotate it with the 3 side up. Then I can rotate this card. I'll rotate this with the file side up. That's probably what I'm gonna go for next. So I'm gonna start planning for that right now. I already got some files down there. Then I can save a card. I don't really know what I want to save, so I'm gonna save this file and put it next to my deck of cards, or maybe down here. And that's that. Draw a new card. Now what I need to do is try to start consolidating a lot of these notebooks, ideally. Gonna be a little bit tougher than I would like. So I'm gonna put this one over there. And then that allows me to take this card and move it down. And then draw a new card. We got the networking card, is pretty good. If I could tie that with rotating that, that would be ideal, but that's not something I can do right now. I also have these notebooks up here, and I have these down here, so I'm gonna have to combine them at some point, ideally like right there. So I could play something like play this here. I can rotate some stuff around, so I'll go ahead and rotate that. Then I can move a card up, so I can move this stack up on top of this card. I don't think I mentioned this, but with card like activation arrows, you can't target themselves, so you always have to target other cards, but you can, like in that instance, target a stack and then move the stack on top of the card that did the action. So that is totally legal. And now I've kind of got myself in a weird situation here, but I think it's okay. I just need to figure out the best way forward, really. So I'm gonna do something like place this here, then move this stack up, draw a new card. Then what? This has a triple notepad, which is good. So I'm gonna place this here, move this notepad like that, and then I guess move this over to this. Not something I actually really wanted to do, but we're just gonna go with that instead. Okay. Is this just one card? Okay. Just trying to figure out my angle here for this next move. So I want to do something like place that there, Use that to rotate the files up because that's just nice to have. And then we use the network to move this on top of that. Okay, we got 2 cards left. We got 1 saved, and our stack is looking pretty good. And we have cards to easily consolidate that. So now I'm starting to look ahead to the next round, which I'm gonna start working on the file types. So I want to start getting those together. I do think first I need to, well, I guess we can put this like here. Doesn't rotate anything. Then we move this stack on top of that, and the notebooks will hopefully score pretty good. Then we just got these 2 cards left, and I want to just start kind of, like I said, moving some of these notebooks together. So we're gonna put this. I gotta be careful though. Okay, I can do this because if I place that card, that goes over here. But now I have another active notebook that I just placed down, which isn't good, but I can, you know, I can resolve that by placing like this down here, or this over here is probably better because then we can rotate it to like paint side up. And then I can move something over in this row, so we can maybe move this file on top of this. So we got 2 little file stacks next to each other. And with that, that's the end of the first round, I guess is how it splits it up. So we are scoring, of course, for Notepad. So let's see what our score is. We got 2, 4, 7, 10, 11, 12, 14. 14 is what we score, which to me is pretty good. Not bad, not bad. So then how this works is you take all the cards you scored with, everything else stays out, you shuffle and mix them up. Shuffle and mix them up, and then you will take 1 card and delete it from the game. So it is permanently removed from the game. After that, you reform your deck of cards, you draw 2 cards, and you're back in it. Starting with the next round, and now less cards to kind of work with. So we already got a couple piles of files going on. We have a triple right there that we need to rotate and then kind of have it get pushed down. So for now, I'm gonna place, well, nothing I really need to rotate at the moment. So we're gonna place this here and move these files over. Seems like a decent idea. New card. So now we need to try to like rotate this, get that down, rotate that, get that down. That has a file on top. I have nothing. Oh, this kind of works. So, and this is actually a little bit better, right? Because watch this. I place this here. That allows me to rotate this to this side. Then I can move a thing up or down, and then we move this up. I kind of like that. It seems like we need to start also planning ahead for the next round. Ideally, we already got a bit of a paint stack going, so it seems like paint will probably be what we target next. So I need to kind of just keep that in the back of my head, which looks like these cards have a decent amount of paint icons on them. But, you know, we're still working on files is ideally what we need to be doing. I want to rotate that and then push it down. So was it systems on top? Paint to the side. So I could do something like that. That rotates that to the 3 files on top. Then we move it down and draw a new card. Great. I could just do something like play this here, doesn't rotate anything, and then I move this stack down just on top of the card I just played. Not too shabby. I might do a recycle action here soon. Yeah, we're gonna do our first recycle action. So I'm gonna recycle that card to flip this card to its paint side up. And we only got 2 cards left. So we're just gonna place this here to have a whole little like paint area that we can start working on here and move that over. Final card. I'm probably just gonna place the tree there and then move that paint over there. And there's no file icons left face up, so we're good there. Let's see how many we score for. the little graph files. So we get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17. Not too bad. Not too bad. So on to the next round. Like I said, it's going to be paintbrush for this round, and then the final round will be the network icon. There's probably proper names for all of these that I'm not calling them 100% correct, but you get the gist of it, hopefully. So we discard one card, draw our hand of 2 as the deck gets ever thinner, and we start cracking away. So I need to move these up. That has a lot of icons on the side. I need to probably flip it first. That doesn't have anything good on its sides for me. Because I would like to maybe network that, but then I'd have to rotate it first, and none of its sides work, which kind of sucks. I might just recycle a card to flip this to its 3 side. Because then, I don't know, I could place this like over here. Doesn't matter, because then we just network that to there. Okay. So I might just put this here. And then move that down on that pile. I don't think I'm gonna be able to merge all 3 of these without more like network cards or anything. That would be a long shot for sure. I do have the tree, but then it has to be in the same row still, or column, which doesn't really help me. I guess if I move this over and then these like down, but I have 4 cards left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that just doesn't work. Interesting. Okay. What do I guess I just abandon that one up there and just try to get whatever else I can. I mean, I noticed this one has what, 2, this has 3 files on it. So like if I place this here, doesn't I guess it technically could rotate this. And then we could just move this down. And then let's see if we can somehow rotate that down. That would be great, but right now it doesn't look like we have anything for that. Maybe if we recycle. We recycle, we move it down with that, and we move this over. I mean, I think that's the move, right? So we do that, recycle to flip this to this side, draw the next card. We play this over here, which moves this to there. But that's face up. Oh, that's bad. Is there something I can do? Yes, I actually can save this, because if I put this here, I can rotate this to like that way and then move this down on top of that. Then that's my last card. So we're scoring for the art paintbrushes now. So we got 3, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. All right, we're heading into the final round. I guess I have to get my discard in here as well. Honestly, I've had really good scores this game so far, but I feel like this last round is gonna be the toughest. Have the least amount of cards to work with. I haven't been focusing on much at setting up stuff, so I'm a little worried at how this is all going to end, but well, you know, I'll try my best, see what I can do. We got this one card just hanging out up here. We'll probably have to, like, I don't know, network that over if we can, if we get a network card. But there's 2 out in play, so I might just have to like rotate that off or something like that. Yeah, we just need to start, I guess, merging these. Also get this to rotate. how can I, so if I play that there, that works because I can rotate that like that and then use the arrow to move that over. That is, that's something. Trying to get my grid all decent here, but it's also encroaching. It's like the grid's slowly sliding over to like where my deck is. So I'm gonna have to keep moving that out of the way a little bit. What are my current options? So moving a card up could be something. Neither of these really have good. This does have a double at the top, but that doesn't do me too much. We'll still play it and then move the tree up to there and try to get the tree going. I guess can't hurt. Can't really hurt to do that. I just want to play this for that symbol, but I don't really want to move stuff around. Yeah, there's nothing I really want to move around unless I place it like, yeah, none of that would work. Oh, I could place this like that. That rotates that, then moves over this tree. And that's like, that's something. And then I play this there, and then that at least moves this up. I could place this there, that rotates that over. Well, hold on. Can I actually do something better? No, not really. Okay. Then yeah, I place that there, that rotates that up and moves that over. Kind of lines that up pretty nice, right? Draw a new card. Boy, these are wild options. I mean, I could place that there. That rotates that. We move that over. Draw a new card. Not very many left. We got triple file symbol on here. If I could try to get that to work, that would be pretty sweet. So if we place that like here, doesn't rotate anything, but then we move this down. So now this is, we just need this because this is the tree. So we just need this in the same row as wherever our final stack is. We got 2 cards left. It'd be great if we could rotate that, move that, and move that. I don't know if we, I don't think we have the moves to pull that off. We definitely don't. So best I can do is try to rotate that and then move that up, which we can do with this, right? We rotate that and we move that up to like there. Wait, there still might be hope, because look at this, right? I play this here, that rotates. Oh, wait. These the tree has to be in the same row. That was almost a big brain play, but it won't work if I don't have the tree in the same row. So if I play that there, that moves that up, and then these both score because that has the tree and that's in the same row. So let's count up my final computer symbols, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 13, 16, 18. So 14 plus 18 plus 17 plus 18 gives me a total of 67, which there is a little score chart here in the back. And 67 is so close to the top score. 67 is Fatal Exception Sigh. If I would have got 70 plus, that is the top option in the book. But yeah, that was Defrag. I should note I only played the standard game. I didn't really use chaining at all. And maybe that's a fault on my part. Hopefully I played the rules like I said. I wasn't, just before I started, I reread the rule book and realized I was playing 2 rules wrong, where apparently you can flip a card to either face when you play it. Didn't know that. And I didn't realize the tree had to be in the same row or column. It kind of matters. Didn't know that. So hopefully I got all the rest of the rules right, but let me know if I messed up anything. Like I said, I didn't play with the chaining rule, but that's the only additional rule for the standard game is what they call it. And what's really cool about this game, I'll quickly mention now, is this main book has a co-op mode and a competitive mode. And when I got the game, it came with a promo pack of a second deck so that I can play the co-op and competitive mode. And this game has a scenario manual filled with 40 different scenarios, all adding different variety of play styles, and having different challenges. And what's cool is some of the scenarios, after you get further along, some of them could be played solo, some could be played co-op, some could be played competitive. So there is a whole lot more to this game to discover than what I just showed here today. So that was Defrag. I'll give my quick final thoughts on this. So like I kind of mentioned, this was a game I found at Origins Game Fair when I went recently. This was not a game on my list to pick up. I just saw it at a booth. I saw it was computer themed and it was a 1 to 2 player game. And I was like, you know what? It's a small box game, not super expensive. I don't know anything about it. Didn't even get a demo on it, but I was like, I'm going to grab it. And so I started trying to learn it. It was definitely a bit intimidating seeing all the icons and symbols, but once you kind of get the hang of what the cards do and whatnot, the game is actually not too complicated. There's, a good amount of rules to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad, I don't think. And I was a bit wary. I don't know. I'm not big on spatial games and tile laying games and whatnot, but this game has really impressed me. I think it is quite fun. I have not even tried any of the scenarios yet. I was going to maybe do that today, but ran a little bit short on time. But I really like this game. It does use up a fair amount of table space, but it is a good brain burner. And I really like the different actions, and just the way it plays is, I don't know, it's pretty straightforward, but it's just a fun, chill little spatial tying laying game. And I am very curious to try the co-op mode and competitive mode and see how those play, and then also start diving into the scenarios. I really want to try some of those. They seem quite fun, but I've played this game a good amount of times now, and have started to get a good feel for it. Obviously, I'm just now still learning some of the rules and getting those correct, so I'm no expert by any means. But having played this a good amount, I thoroughly enjoy it. I didn't think I was going to as much. I mean, I got it because it was computer themed, and it's one that I really enjoy. I think it's quite fun. It doesn't take too long to play, and if you really want to, you could just maybe play just one icon scoring or whatever. But yeah, it's not the deepest game in the world, but there's a lot of thought that goes into it about what icons you score when, what cards you use, what actions you use, what you move around, what you rotate, trying to set up the chains if you're doing stuff with that, trying to maybe play in a turn, a round or two ahead. So there's a lot of thinking to this, and like I said, this is only the standard game. There's 40 scenarios to play, and there's a co-op mode and competitive. So I am really impressed with this game and really looking forward to trying out more of it. And that's pretty much what I have to say, but very thoroughly impressed and glad I tried it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. And until next time, I'll see ya.